Welcome to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. If you're on a mission to be more frugal with both your time and money, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we talk about topics that help enhance living a frugal lifestyle. The goal is to save time and money where we can so that we can use the rest on what matters most to us. We talk a lot about both time and money management so that we can waste as little as possible on both. We do this while also embracing a progress over perfection mindset. If that sounds good to you, then please stick around for the latest episode right after a few quick words from our sponsor. Hi everyone, welcome back to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. This is my weekly meal plan episode where I share with you what's on my meal plan for the upcoming week. I think that meal planning's helped me so much over time that I decided to share this with you guys every week it's been quite a while now. So every week I share my meal plan, and I also have a post on my blog, which is at lolasfrugallife.com, where you can find links to any recipes that I share in this episode. So this week's meal plan starts on Saturday, July 15th. For Saturday, we are doing easy American goulash from budgetbites.com. This has been one of my new kind of meal rotations. It's super easy and it cooks all in one pot. It's got like ground beef and diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, and elbow macaronis and some other ingredients. It's kind of like my daughter calls it like a bougie hamburger helper. But I think it's really good. I don't think it tastes like hamburger helper. Not that there's anything wrong with hamburger helper if you like that. It's not my particular favorite. But either way, it doesn't matter. This is a great one pan dish. So we're doing that again on Saturday. For Sunday, I'm doing baked chicken nuggets, which is from allrecipes.com. It's just a really simple baked chicken nugget recipe. You just cut the chicken into small bite-sized pieces. You coat it with melted butter, dip it in breadcrumbs, and bake it in the oven. I'm going to be doing chickpea salad 2, which is also from allrecipes.com. As a side, that is a quick salad that is made with chickpeas, cucumbers, tomatoes, and some seasonings and oil and vinegar. And then I'm also going to be doing some crispy air-fried sweet potato wedges, which is from cookinglight.com. This is just a simple sweet potato cut into wedges, tossed with some seasonings and baked in the air fryer. You can obviously do that in the oven as well if you don't have an air fryer. Monday is hamburgers. We do hamburgers every other Monday. So this Monday is one of our hamburger nights. I will be making the hamburgers just very simply, taking some ground beef, making patties, throwing them on the grill or on the stovetop, depending on the weather. I'm also doing oven fresh seasoned potato wedges, which is from allrecipes.com. This is where you take potatoes, cut them into wedges, toss them in a Ziploc bag with some olive oil and some Parmesan cheese and some other seasonings, and then you bake them in the oven. If it's really hot, a lot of times in the summer, I will just skip that. And instead, I will just cut the potatoes into thinner slices and cook them up in the air fryer, just to avoid having to have the oven go for so long. And then we usually do a can of pork and beans with that also. Tuesday is our Mexican theme night. This week we are doing homemade nachos with ground beef. This is from theseasonedmom.com. These are super easy. You just cook up some ground beef. You lay half a bag of tortilla chips, cover it with the ground beef and cheese, and then do another layer of tortilla chips, and then same on top. You bake it, and then you add whatever toppings you like. I usually put out like sour cream, salsa, avocado, all that kind of stuff, and everyone could just make their own like little nacho plate. Wednesday is our seafood night. This week we're doing creamy Tuscan salmon shrimp pasta. This is really easy, and I do this regularly too for our seafood night. I just think it comes out so good. You basically cook up some salmon and some shrimp in a baking dish, and you make kind of like a sauce with like cream and sun-dried tomatoes, and there's Parmesan cheese, and you just kind of put all the shrimp and the salmon back in there. I actually then just mix it right in with the pasta. I think it actually says to serve it separately, or I don't even know if it even says to serve with the pasta. I forget. But anyway, we do pasta and I mix it all in with the cream sauce, and I just kind of break up the salmon so it's just kind of tossed through the pasta with the shrimp. So That is, I forget if I said the recipe. That's from simply-delicious-food.com. So that's the creamy Tuscan salmon shrimp pasta. For Thursday, we are doing zuppa toscana, which is Italian sausage potato soup. This recipe was actually recommended by one of the members of our Facebook group, and I really love it. It's like one of our favorites, and it's one that the whole family actually eats, which is rare. Almost every recipe I make, there's at least one person who it isn't their favorite meal, especially with soups. But this one is so good. It's got ground sausage and potatoes and cream, and you make it in the Instant Pot, and it is just really delicious, really easy to make. So we are doing that on Thursday for our soup night. By the way, speaking of our Facebook group, if you would like to join our Facebook group and have some conversations with me and other listeners of this podcast, we would love to have you over there. It's at facebook.com/groups/Lola's Frugal Life. It's a really fun group of people, but there's only a few of us that actually talk right now, so we really could use some more people. Whether you want to talk or not, I will love to have you in the group. I talk a little bit more. We have a few members that definitely speak up more often, and I totally get it. I'm in plenty of groups where I don't say anything. I just like to read, so I welcome all of you. But especially if you want to be one of the talkers, that way those people that just want to be in there to see what's being talked about can have more conversations to read. So I'd love to have you join us over there. But anyway, that recipe came from someone in the Facebook group, so I love that recipe now. It is one of my favorites, and like I said, everyone in my family really likes it. So that's for Thursday. For Friday, we are doing chicken cutlets. I don't have a recipe to share for this. I just take chicken breast, I slice it thin, dip it in egg, dip it in breadcrumb, and then fry it in a frying pan. You could also bake it in the oven. And then as a side, we're going to be doing pasta with tomatoes, basil, and garlic, which is from cupofjoe.com. This is a really simple recipe. You basically just take cherry tomatoes and basil, and you put it on a baking sheet, and you drizzle olive oil over top, and then you bake it in the oven until the tomatoes kind of almost like pop, like they get kind of wrinkly. And then you just kind of toss that together with the pasta and a little bit more olive oil, and then just like some salt and pepper. It's a really simple side dish. It comes out really good, but it does take a while to bake those the tomato and basil in the oven. It's like 45 minutes or almost an hour or something. So if it's a really hot day, maybe you might want to consider doing something else. But it's also one of those recipes that you want to make sure you remember that it's going to take that long to bake, because I feel like it's so easy that I forget the baking time, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to wait like an hour before we can eat now. So anyway, so that's the last meal on this week's meal plan. Like I said, you can find any of these recipes, links to these recipes on my website, on the weekly blog post that goes along with this episode at lolasfrugallife.com. So that's it for this week. I am so glad you're here listening, and I will see you back here next week. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode. And don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Lola's Frugal Life. And you can find a blog post for most of my episodes, and definitely all of my meal plan episodes, at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.